Welcome to the Red Dice Diaries. This podcast is a rambling journey through the wonderful world of RPGs from the viewpoint of a long-time GM and player. The music at the start of this podcast was Nightmare by Alexander Nakarada and is used under Creative Commons license.
It's Saturday the 21st here in merry old England, quite warm. I'm celebrating my wedding anniversary later on today, but while my wife's having a well-deserved lie-in, I just thought I'd get online and record some stuff. I'm also flicking through the field guide to Hot Springs Island and The Dark of Hot Springs Island, a sort of OSR campaign sandbox that I've purchased recently due to the Christmas sale in July on drive-thru. I'm very much looking forward to reading that, hoping I can plug it into my Midlands campaign since it's an island. And it's got me thinking, what is it about books that sort of grabs hold of you, that sort of indefinable characteristic that makes you want to continue reading it from the first page? And I think it's different in any book that you pick up. I mean, I've got loads of role-play books. I mean, probably enough that some sort of intervention should be organised. And each of them that I enjoy has something different about it that makes me want to carry on reading them. Whether it's like Alas for the Cruel Seas, gritty portrayal of the sort of port side life during a very sort of poor, depressed era when people are having to turn to smuggling, etc. Whether it's an intriguing background like the Midlands, where it's got a bit of a tongue-in-cheek representation of the places where I actually live and know. Whether it's the many OSR books that I've got where I instantly start thinking of ways that I can incorporate bits and pieces of them into games I'm running at the minute. For instance, the Warriors of the Red Planet, which I have at the moment, which is all about sort of planetary romance and sort of John Carter-esque stuff. There's lots of stuff in there I've already been thinking about incorporating into my games, and I'm certain a four-armed albino ape is going to show up in at least some of my games. And I've got freebooters as well from the same publishers, Night Owl Workshop, which is all about the OSR in the age of piracy, which has a load of nice random generators in it, loads of information about boats, additional spells, various bits and pieces like that, which I'm sure I'll use in my games at some point. But one thing I have noticed as well is there's been quite a few games I've picked up recently that other people have recommended to me, where there genuinely seems to be a bit of a style over substance thing going on, where they're very slick, the graphics and the art is great, the binding's amazing, the layout's quality, but there's just something lacking in the game that doesn't really compel me to carry on reading it. And I always find it difficult to know what to do with games like that, because I don't want to just write off a game and say, oh no, that's rubbish, because it might just be that it doesn't appeal to me personally. And also there's been a number of games where the book itself hasn't really appealed to me, but when it's been run by a decent games master, I've still had quite an enjoyable time. But I do think publishers are sort of hamstringing themselves if they don't get that hook in immediately that makes you sort of after the first few pages go, oh yeah, I'm really getting down with this book, I really want to read this and find out what's going on. But it must be difficult. It's very hard to define exactly what that is, and I assume it's different for different people. I can only really talk about myself, but I know that I tend to look for an interesting concept and something that as I read it immediately starts suggesting what sort of game or exciting campaign I could run with it. And if it can be incorporated into a campaign I'm already running, since unfortunately my time is quite limited, so much the better. So that's my ramblings for today. I think if you're writing role-playing supplements, and I certainly intend to carry on writing them and trying to do a few more in the future, and I'll be ever chasing that elusive page turning quality. So whatever you're going to be playing today, I hope you have a great time, and I'll catch you soon.